So today's video's title is War or Happiness. The story that follows will tell us about the lives of two men, a lion and a snake. It will teach us how we can show gratitude to those who help us in difficult times. Once upon a time, in a village lived a king, his wife, his daughter, and the whole population of the kingdom. And one morning, a man who lived in that kingdom decided to go to the forest as usual to look for food for his family. When he arrived, he saw a hare and began to pursue it. However, like any living soul, the hare was afraid of being caught and killed. So he hid in a hole near an old tree. While the man was pursuing the hare, he was not alone. There were other pursuers too, a lion and a snake. And when the man arrived at the hole where the hare hid, he saw the lion roaring beside him and the snake that was also pursuing the hare. The snake tried to get into the hole where the hare was hidden, and by disturbing the hole, the old tree fell on the three of them. So they all began to cry and ask for help. Suddenly appeared a hunter who happened to hunt by, and he came and asked what had happened for the three of them to be stuck under that old tree. The man started by saying, "Please save me. I'm a human like you. I'm a human being. I'm also someone who will come to help you in difficult times. Please save me." The lion at this moment also began to beg the hunter, saying, "Please, hunter, you and I have known each other for many years in this forest. I've never eaten you, and even when I was very hungry, I always considered you my greatest friend. Now, please be nice to me. Get me out of here, and one day I will make you a gift that you never dreamed of." The snake then told the hunter, "Please, sir, I know that there is always enmity between you and me. You hate me, but today I swear I will do thee no harm. Save me and see that I also will save you one day." The hunter said to all of them, "You're all lying. What proves that you're not lying to me? I will not save you. You will stay here until you die." Then he started berating the man and said, "Today you tell me to save you because you're human like me. But you forgot that you are jealous of others. You are a thief. I will not help you because if I do, one day you may betray me." Then he turned to the lion and said, "Look at you, lion. You eat men like me. You also saw terror in the forest, eating animals like you. And you say that you are the king of the forest. Although you are a king, you call the people of your kingdom to come and save you. Certainly, you will eat me if I release you." But the lion still begged the man to be lenient with him and let him out of the trap. The hunter turned to the snake on the side and said, "You snake, you know that you bite people. You even bite animals in this forest. If I release you, you will turn against me and you will also bite me. So I cannot save you." The snake told him, "No, my lord, that will not happen. Please do save me." Therefore, the hunter took pity on them all and released them. A few days after the hunter helped the man, the lion and the snake, the king's daughter told her servant that she needed to go swimming in the river in the forest. So once the king's daughter and her sick servant arrived near the forest, the lion sprang, attacked, and then fell on the king's daughter. All of the servants panicked, running in her direction while crying, "Help us, help us." In the meantime, the lion had caught the king's daughter. He refused to eat her, but carried her alive in appreciation of the hunter who had saved him. The lion said to the hunter, "Dear hunter, you remember that day I was stuck under that tree and you saved me, and I told you that I would bring you a gift that you never dreamed of. So here is my gift. Here is this girl that I give to you as a wife." The hunter knelt before the lion and said, "Lion, I always thought about marriage, but all of the girls in the kingdom refused my advances. Now you bring me this as a gift. This is so precious to me. Yes, I understand that you're my friend." The hunter took the king's daughter as a wife. He told her to stay with him and not to be afraid. When the six servants arrived at the royal court, they explained what had happened with fear and tears. They explained to the king that a lion attacked and threw himself on the king's daughter, and they did not know if the lion ate her or how. Explained the six maiden to the king and his council. The king fell on his face, saddened by the unexpected disappearance of his daughter, and began to cry for his only daughter. Later, he ordered his military to fetch everywhere for his daughter. But when the soldier arrived at the place where the lion had attacked the royal daughter, they did not find any trace of blood. They looked for it everywhere, but without success. Then they said that the king's daughter might have run away. They returned home empty handed and to the king's palace, only to tell him that they had searched everywhere and that they could not find his daughter. Following this, the king organized a memorial for his daughter, but signed a decree that he would give whoever found his daughter everything he owned except the royal power. But what will happen? The man that had been saved by the hunter said to his wife, "We have nothing to eat. I'm going into the forest and maybe we can get something to eat." His wife reminded him to be careful and not to make a misstep. As soon as he entered the forest, he saw the king's daughter sitting next to the hunter. Quickly, he brought the news to the king, only to tell him that they had searched everywhere but had not found the girl. He said, "King, I found it. I found your daughter. She lives with a man in the middle of the forest." So the king asked the man who brought the message to explain what had really happened, because he could not believe it. So he said, "Son, please tell me, how have you actually seen my only daughter that I've been searching for every day alive?" The man replied, "Yes, my king. I saw your daughter sitting next to a poor man in the forest. She's alive." From the palace, the kings ordered the kingdom soldiers and the witness who saw his daughter to immediately stop the person who kept his daughter from him for several days without informing him. When the soldiers arrived in the forest, they found the king's daughter and the hunter in their box and took them to the village. When the king saw his daughter, he ordered them to give to the one who found his daughter everything he needed, and they did it. But the hunter was imprisoned and sentenced to death. When the execution day came, the king told his advisor to inform the whole kingdom population to come and attend the execution of the man who kidnapped his daughter. Everyone came to answer the call of the king to see how the hunter would be hanged. As everyone awaited the hunter's death, the snake that was saved by the hunter in the forest came to see him in prison. The snake gave him an antidote and told him to take it while he stood guard, saying, "When the king decides to leave his house to give the order to execute you, I will bite him. He will then seek someone who has the antidote to save the king, and then you will cry that you know how to save him." As the king left his house, the snake did bite him, and just as he crossed the threshold to his house, the king fainted, everyone panicked, and the king's advisors began to ask the crowd, "Who can save the king?" but nobody answered. For the second time, they asked, "Who knows how we can save the king?" The hunter in the prison cried with a loud voice, saying, "I'm going to save him." Therefore, the king's men led the hunter where the king was lying and gave him a few drops of the antidote in his mouth. Once the king opened his eyes, he asked, "Who saved me?" His advisors said to him, "Please, king, it was the hunter you wanted to kill that saved you." Against all odds, the king orders the hunter immediate release, gave him his only daughter as a wife, and made him second in succession to the king. After this event, the snake came again to see the hunter and said to him, "Do you remember what I told you that day when I was stuck by the tree in the forest?" The hunter replied, "Yes, I remember you promised me that you would save me one day, and that day is definitely here. I thank you for that with all my heart," said the hunter to the snake. Why did the man that the hunter had helped not acknowledge his help? Why did he not try to warn the hunter to let the princess go back to her father, lest he be arrested or under penalty or being sentenced to death? From this story, we learn that we should be grateful to those who help us, like the lion and the snake, that recognize that they went through a very difficult time and the hunter that helped them. Be grateful. So the moral of this story is gratitude. And from this story, we can learn to be grateful to those who help us. This could mean your friends lends you money, someone helps you with a call, or you get help to do homework. From this lesson, we learn to always repay helpfulness with gratitude. Showing someone gratitude could mean saying thank you, helping them when they need it, or being honest and paying them back the money you borrowed.
Hi guys, so today we're going to be doing an art project to go along with the story Woe and Happiness. And in this project we want to focus on gratitude. So from this story we can learn to be grateful to those who help us. So this could mean when your friends lend you money or someone helps you with a chore or you get help with your homework. So to practice this, we're going to start off, we need 2 pieces of paper. You want to make sure that your hand can fit on the piece of paper, both of them like this. You're going to need a pair of scissors, a Sharpie, and a pencil to outline your hand. So the first thing I'm going to do is just trace my hand on each paper I have here. So I'll get my pencil, and we'll just go around like this. So we have a hand. Now you're going to do your other hand. If you need help tracing with your non-dominant hand, ask for help or your friends can do it for you. So we have my 2 hands. Next I'm going to cut out the tracing I just did on it. And this is where you can make your fingers a little fatter or bigger if they got too small on the tracing. Okay, now I have my 2 hands, my right and my left. There we go. So now I'm going to look at these fingers, and since I'm doing a lesson on gratefulness, what we're going to do is try to think of ways we can say thank you to the people who've helped us. So the first thing you want to do is think about what you're thankful for and how you want to show gratitude today. So for this, I'm going to use a Sharpie, and I'm going to write one thing on each finger that I'm grateful for. So that's 10 things. They can be words, they can be sentences, they can be feelings or experiences, and you're just going to do that on every finger. It can be basic things like family, friends, or something more personal to you. So I'm thankful for my roommate. for sunshine because it's not raining today. So those are my 10 things that I'm thankful for. So now what we're going to do is make a thankful tree. So oftentimes people shake hands or high five. What we're going to do is we're going to intertwine the hand together like it's holding hands. So you're going to want to go over, under with this pattern. So over, under, over, under, over. This one's going to go under, so I'm going to leave it here. Under. This one's going to go here, and it might not fit, and that's okay. So it's going to end up like this with your hand. And now they're like intertwined, like a handshake. So here we have our gratefulness hands. You can intertwine them in and out. Just make sure your pattern is over, under. So I have over, under, over, under, over, under, over. This one should go under. There we go. This is our grateful hands to remind you to be thankful of the people who have helped you today or the things that you see today. And just random things throughout your day that you may not realize that you are thankful for.